Good morning vlog. It is Tuesday, April 9th, and I'm not really feeling any different from yesterday. I guess just slightly worse because of the congestion or whatever that built up overnight. Luckily, I was able to clear some of that out in the shower. But I'm working on this morning on editing the podcast a little bit more, trying to get as far ahead in that as I can before I come back tonight to finish it out. But also tonight I'm going to have our final cantata rehearsal before we actually do the cantata on Palm Sunday, which is this coming Sunday. I'm really interested in seeing how this application of this cantata plays out. How we have it designed now is that the cantata is the service. So we're hearing the story of Jesus coming through on Palm Sunday, but also we have all the liturgy and the readings and the Lord's Prayer and everything that we have in all of our normal services being integrated into the cantata as well, which is going to be very interesting. I haven't ever seen that type of application before, so that's something I'm interested in. I also sent an email to one of the founders of my current company, trying to set up a meeting, just a short meeting, 15 minutes or so, if he can allow time for it rather, just to kind of have a little heart-to-heart with him about why I'm leaving my current position and starting a new chapter at a new company next week. But I still very much want to be involved with this company's brand creation, brand awareness. It's just that what I want to do for them and what I'm really passionate about, what really is getting me fired up and what's causing me to be so fired up that I'm making this daily vlog and posting onto Instagram and doing all this stuff. They at this current company that I'm with don't really have that type of position or department even available. Luckily, I guess we have kind of an inner workings of it because we have a branding committee, which I'm also on, and I'm going to give a similar kind of spiel for our meeting on Wednesday. But even though I'm going to be departing this company, I'd still very much love to be a part of its development. I think there's definitely room to grow and improve, especially on the social side. And especially services that and things that can be expanded to offer the clientele that my company very much wants to attract. And at my current position as a paid search specialist, it's just not jiving with me. I've given it a really hard try, but it's just not connecting with me. I'm dreading going to work. I know it's time for a change, and I know that I would not be able to survive or breathe pretty much with my own passions and desires for my own personal development, that I would not be effective still serving the current role that I'm serving right now. It'd be best for me to remove myself out of that equation so that the managers and the leaders can find someone more suitable that actually is passionate about diving into all the analytics and whatnot behind being a paid search specialist. And I think it's kind of I'm just trying to exercise some self-awareness here, and it's kind of just ripping off the Band-Aid. And I know they're at kind of a little vulnerable of a position right now, but I think they'll be able to pull it through. They're not going to go under just because I'm no longer there. I'm not that pretentious or arrogant. But I definitely do want to still be involved with their company in terms of helping them develop their brand and kind of getting them into a mindset of how they can create their own content for their own company, for their own, like building the brand of their own marketing agency, so that they can then take those principles that they're learning through the practice of building their own brand and apply that to the clientele, to the home services industry, that they of the plumbers, the electricians, to help them learn from that. And that brings me to my next point of why I'm taking this new job, is because it will allow me to work not fewer hours, but earlier hours, if that makes sense. So I'll get done earlier in the day, which will give me more time during the day to allocate to other side projects, like whether it be pro bono consulting, editing podcasts, making content in other forms, editing content, and sending that out there. Or also, like during the summer, I will be able to have Fridays off because I'll be working at a private school and they have a reduced schedule during the summer. And that is a very nice perk to have, and that can basically give me an entire extra day to do something else that I want to pursue and enjoy, which can include pro bono consulting work or advisement or whatever it is, services for the company that the marketing agency that I'm currently with right now. And I think it'll be kind of a win-win situation. They won't have to deal with a person that is performing subpar, that isn't really enjoying the work that they're doing, that doesn't necessarily want to be in that position, and then turns out to be resentful because the position that may suit him better or best does not even exist right now, because it may exist some point in the future, but I don't know. I don't think I'd be able to survive for that amount of time. It could take years and years, and I'm not going to. I personally just can't really do that. I have other responsibilities that I need to take care of. Like I have family that I need to look after, and other things to prepare for the future. So, and I think this type of move definitely is a step in the right direction, but I also very much want to leave that door open in hoping and maintaining a relationship with this marketing company that I'm with right now. That's kind of a little bit of a preview of what I'm going to try and talk about with the founder and then also the head of the branding committee when we meet on Wednesday. Hopefully I'm able to communicate that clearly enough where they're on board with it, and hopefully we can maintain just contact throughout the coming weeks and months and potentially even years. I don't know like whether they'll be open to it. Hopefully they will be, because I'd very much like to float by any suggestions. That's what I was doing just yesterday with Theo, offering different suggestions on how he can create content and what my church can do in order to create their own content and try and improve their presence online. So those are my current thoughts this morning. It is getting close for me to, like, the hard cutoff for me to get to work, unfortunately. I'm just going to have to finish up this podcast later tonight. But I will email Pastor Audie just to see if I can get the show notes from him, because I don't have the show notes for this episode, and I need to get those so I can attach them and send them off whenever I publish the episode. But yeah, it'll be a pretty busy day, because I'm probably directly after work I'm just gonna go directly to the cantata rehearsal, and then it's going to be a full dress rehearsal, so we probably won't get done until about 9 o'clock or so, even if that. On top of that, I still have this frog in my throat. I don't know what I'm going to be doing over the next couple of days. I hope it doesn't get any worse. Like, it's not really congestion. There's I don't know, it's called drainage. I'm not that's definitely something appealing that I want to share on this vlog. But I did try to get a good night's sleep last night. I had some help with what is it? Basically, the store brand version of NyQuil. I took a dose of that just to make sure my nasal passages are clear and whatnot for the night, and that I get a good night's sleep. And something I notice whenever I take that is that I get really, like, not vivid, but just kind of trippy and weird dreams. And usually when I'm come down with some sort of sickness or something, those trippy weird dreams that I have is something adversarial in nature. Like there's some kind of conflict happening in them, and I'm in the middle of it. I'm trying to resolve it. And this time around, I was in my church of all places, trying to run the sound for the service like I normally do, but just issue after issue kept coming up. Like the pastor, the senior pastor's microphone kept cutting out and losing connection, and so I was trying to troubleshoot that, but nothing was working, and then as a result of troubleshooting that, I was missing some cues for other songs and things like that needed to happen. Other people in the sound booth were trying to talk to me, further distracting me and making me miss even more cues. And even like whenever I had gone physically away from the soundboard, Toby of all people had put in a random CD that he found and started playing it. I think it was like a Dashboard Confessional song or something, just randomly. I'm like, Toby, why are you doing that? It's crazy, man. Like we're in the middle of a service. You can't be testing out these CDs while we're doing a service. But yeah, so that was just the weird thing. I was going upstairs, downstairs, it was just wonky. Surprise dream journaling. There you go. I always do want to try to do a lucid dream again. I was able to lucid dream once, maybe twice, but the second time around it wasn't as successful. And apparently one of the things to get in practice too is recalling your dream, writing it down, talking about it, something like that, just to help you recall what it was, so you're more aware the next time something like that happens. You could potentially be like, oh, I'm in a dream, so I can do whatever, and then you can lucid dream. Anyway, squirrel, time to get to work. Had a pretty long day at work. It was just go all throughout the day, pretty much. And now it's 7 o'clock and need to get to this cantata rehearsal so we can see what's going on. Dress rehearsal, it's crunch time. Alright, I got the microphones currently set up in a general pattern where I hope I'll be able to fine-tune them a little bit later.
Well, but it's already gone back.
But I don't know. This is always going to be the toughest part of the rehearsal, because this is where all the, hey, how's it going? This is when all the feedback issues are going to come out, because it always happens at the final dress rehearsal. So I'm just waiting for that to happen. But for right now, I'm going to go up into the sound booth because I need to grab the iPad so I can remotely mix everything while I'm still downstairs. I can make other changes at the same time. So, gonna make sure everything up here is all right with the board. And yeah, I'll head back downstairs. So we have the choir in place. I got the handy dandy iPad with the control software on it to do my remote mixing magic. And we're gonna see what issues we run into, but that's why we rehearse. So we're in a little bit of a break right now. I've been stressing a little bit having the microphone stressing about the microphone placement out here. You can see there, let's see if I zoom in, you can see there's this guy, this microphone right there is a little bit of a troublemaker right now. And it is just because of the overall placement of the choir and the orchestra that we have going on right now. That microphone that I pointed out earlier is right in front of one of the fill speakers, and I don't know how I can potentially cut those off yet. I will do my best to learn how to do that before Palm Sunday. And now we're all filing back in to go for the final part of this rehearsal, because we're doing this on Palm Sunday and then Good Friday, and it has two different endings because we're telling the story of Jesus' death and crucifixion and death. There we go. Had that mixed up. But anyway, so for Palm Sunday, it's when he's coming into the city with the palms laid out and whatnot, and that has a different ending for that cantata on this coming Sunday. And then a week from Friday is Good Friday. Of course, that has a much more somber ending with Jesus' death, and it's very like there's the slamming of this book, and it's really loud sound, thunder, lightning, and then it gets really quiet, and everyone exits out of the sanctuary in silence. It's actually pretty powerful. This is fun. Somebody pulled a fire alarm, or a fire alarm got tripped or something. Now we're waiting for the fire department to clear the building. The fire department's here, but we just need to have them clear the building now. Back at the apartment after all that excitement, and now I am going to finish up editing the podcast, at least this next iteration, and then I will work on the next iteration for next week, try and get ahead. Right, vlog, it is shortly after 11 o'clock. I just finished with editing the podcast, doing most of the heavy lifting. I still have to master it, but that's not going to take as long. I just need to transfer over the FLAC file and put in an intro. Hopefully my voice will be better by tomorrow. I'm feeling better, thankfully. But yeah, just need to do that and get it scheduled to post and send it off to Pastor Audie for approval. But then also, I've been on a little bit of a dessert kick lately, like with my keto diet, and something I have been really enjoying so far is this chia seed pudding. And I'll link whenever I post this to YouTube, I'll link the recipe down below that I've been using. It's really simple. It's like heavy cream, almond or coconut milk, your artificial sweeteners, so something like stevia or something, chia seeds, of course, and then vanilla extract. That's an important one. And I decided to experiment a little bit, and I think it's going to turn out really well. I have a bunch of almond milk, and I'm also been wanting to experiment with cold brew. So what I did was I took a couple of cups of almond milk and a few tablespoons of coffee grounds and just did a cold brew with the almond milk and the coffee grounds in the refrigerator for a few days. And I have to say, whenever I opened up the container, it smelled wonderful. And I added that into the chia seed pudding, that into the mixture that I'm making for my next batch. And so that's going to be chilling in the fridge overnight, and then hopefully by tomorrow it will come to maturity, and it'll be absolutely delicious and a wonderful caffeinated coffee treat for many days to come. Side note though, I'm hoping that I didn't put the mixture in too small of a container, because the chia seeds are very tiny, but once you introduce moisture to it, they can expand a bit. So I'm hoping they don't like burst out of the container that I put them in. But anyway, that was just one more random side note that I wanted to touch on before going to sleep. Man, and I'm really hoping I kick whatever this is. It doesn't. I hope it's not a cold. I don't think it's a cold. It doesn't feel like a cold. Yeah, it's just dealing with my voice, and I have a cough. I don't know. I'm hoping it's nothing serious and goes away definitely by this week. But with that, I hope you have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow.